2021 was a rough year for me. I was mentally in a very dark place. I was far away from my friends and family. I was broke. I was sleeping in a garage. It was not lit, fam. In dark times like that, I usually turn to music, as most of us do. My anxiety band, still to this day, is Jethro Tull, which admittedly is weird to say because most of their music consists of this. I grew up listening to Jethro Tull, so I find much comfort and safety in blasting Thick as a Brick, the full version, at full volume. During the year of our Lord 2021, though, I needed more. Jethro Tull, unfortunately, was not cutting it. I needed something more left of field, something darker, something doomy. I came across a video by Bandsplaining. Why am I with my hands? I came across a video by Bandsplaining talking about this Japanese band that had apparently hijacked a plane, and I became intrigued. The band in question is called Denudes. I feel like such a hipster every time I have to tell someone the name of that band. They are this weird psychedelic noise rock band from the late 60s that almost never released anything in an official capacity. But they were underground legends that lived on through the many bootlegs that circulated throughout the decades by presumably the most hipster circles ever known to man. I found a song called The Night of the Assassins, or The Night, the Assassins, Night. The translations, man, there's like 4 different names for this one song. I hit play, and I was transfixed by the onslaught of noise and Japanese yelling, and just this overarching darkness that's kind of surrounded them. It was chaotic. It was virtually unlistenable, but it was mine, and I felt like I had control while listening to it. And I know some of you might understand what I mean when I say that. Other songs I fell in love with by the band were White Awakening, Memory is Far Away, Deeper Than the Night, Otherwise Fallen in Love. There's a lot there. Be forewarned, if me talking about this band kind of intrigued you to check them out, I'm going to play you 5 seconds of one of their songs. And this is what you're going to get into. Just so you know, this is what you're getting into. During intense, dark days, I would put on Denudes and just fade into the chaos and fade into the noise and feel comfort in that chaos and in that noise. Because it was my band, and I knew no one else would like it, so I could just enjoy something that was at least felt like it was mine. Also, during this time, I was placed on overnight shifts at my job. So not only was I miserable and depressed throughout the day, I was miserable and depressed during the night while exhausted and working. Capitalism. During one of these night shifts, I had a thought to a concert that I had went to in 2019. It was Neurosis headlining with a support act called Bell Witch. And I remembered Bell Witch putting on a great show, but I wasn't ready for it yet. It was the slowest, doomiest. I think they are considered funeral doom, or they might just be considered doom subgenres, am I right? But at the time, I didn't get it. I was there to see Neurosis. I was a huge Neurosis fan, but I thought about Bell Witch, and I thought, I didn't hate it. Maybe now's the time, since, I was getting into Le Rallye Dénudés, and maybe this will be the next step in this thing. I looked up the one song that they played that night, and it was called Mirror Reaper, and that song is, I don't remember off the top of my head, 2 hours long. I remember seeing the album art for Mirror Reaper and just thinking, this is art. This is beautiful. I can't stop staring at this image. And the thing about this album art was that it was very striking. It was very powerful to look at. And it was the perfect combination with what you are about to listen to. And so I set up my shitty Bluetooth speaker in my shitty overnight shift job. And I hit play, and I was welcomed to this. This song made me feel something that not too many songs have made me feel before or since. The spaces in between each note in the beginning of the tune. The deathly growled vocals once the music does kick in. The saddest and haunted sounding vocals during the Words of the Dead section. It's truly hard to put it into words, but it feels like Mirror Reaper woke me up. Bell Witch is a two-piece band from Seattle centering around bass and drums. The original drummer had sadly passed away before work could get started on a new album, so in tribute to him, the bassist carried on with a new drummer and created Mirror Reaper in his memory. A monumental tribute, I think only really comparable to maybe Shine On You Crazy Diamond by Pink Floyd. Call me crazy for making that connection, but it makes sense to me, okay? Oh, and that Words of the Section bit that I mentioned earlier, those vocals are from the deceased drummer as well. I think they were from a demo or something, or just something that they had laying around, just waiting to be used. So they placed it somewhere in the middle of Mirror Reaper, and it makes this piece even more emotional. The night that I discovered Mirror Reaper, I listened to that song as many times as I could throughout the rest of that shift, which, given its length, was probably about 3 or 4 more times. I felt safe in the arms of the Mirror Reaper. I spent many moments just staring at that album cover, and I lost count at how many times I would play this song since that night and just contemplate life and death. I truly consider Mirror Reaper a near perfect song, at least considering its genre. The final group I'm going to talk about today. The final group I'm going to talk... Why is this so weird? The final group I'm going to talk about specifically is a little Finnish funeral doom band called Skepticism that started in the 90s and has 6 amazing albums. One particular album that I'm going to talk about is Ordeal, which is just... I don't know, man. It's just really good. The Departure is epic. Momentary is amazing. Overall, this album feels very complete and fully realized. This band was also on heavy rotation with a bunch of their other albums as well, such as Stormcrow Fleet and Alloy, which are all fantastic as well. If I'm being honest, it's because of bands like Skepticism and Bell Witch that for a short period of time, I considered starting funeral doom metal band, which lasted a whole afternoon of me trying to make the slowest music known to man. And man, kudos to people that can do that, because it's not easy. Some other bands that I was diving into at that time, though, they just kind of helped that mindset. There was this black thrash metal band called MGLA, or Fog, that translates to in English. Seriously though, Exercises in Futility is an amazing album. I also was diving into Mayhem, early Opeth, just a lot of dark, heavy shit that just kind of helped me. In a weird way, it did help me make me feel better. Keeping in mind, Jethro Tull would still pop in at these playlists every now and then. So just imagine me listening to this. And then hopping over to I'm bipolar. Oh, and another band that I did get into a lot during that time was King Crimson, because they just those first 3 albums, fuck hard. And when all was said and done, and I was on track to coming home and finally getting my life back on track, I came back and still was, of course, in a little bit of a funk, because life. So what did I listen to on repeat for almost 2 months straight when I did finally come home? Go on. Guess. Out of all the bands and all the music and all the dark imagery I was describing, what artist, what album do you think I was jamming to when I came back? If you guessed Dawn FM by The Weeknd, you would be fucking right, because that album is fucking great, and I fucking love that album. I don't really need to explain who The Weeknd is. If you don't know who The Weeknd is, I don't know, have you gone outside? I don't know, he's everywhere. When was the last time you went to a grocery store and haven't heard Blinding Lights or Save Your Tears? Like, come on. He's everywhere. He headlined the Super Bowl, for fuck's sake. The Weeknd had a bunch of albums back to back that were fantastic, Starboy namely. But back during all this, I didn't really fuck with The Weeknd. I liked Party Monster, and that was it, pretty much. I don't know why I gravitated towards that one song, but I did. But I took a chance on his then newest album, and it just hit me in all the right places. Gasoline is fun. How Do I Make You Love Me is hype as shit, if I'm going to be honest. And Take My Breath is fun. Out of Time is just a vibe. And the song I keep coming back to out of that whole album is Less Than Zero, which is fun, it's catchy, it's melancholy as shit, and I love it. Also, the Swedish House Mafia remix of Sacrifice goes unnecessarily hard. It just is. I say all this. Why? Because it's interesting to talk about these kind of things. It's interesting to see how we coped through different dark periods in our lives. Some people, use substances as a crutch. For me, it's always been music. But after we get through these dark times, we tend to associate these things with the negative aspects of our life, and we kind of gravitate away from them. Not so much me. I still do listen to a lot of these bands. Skepticism has gone on the wayside a bit, because I don't know, something usually has to give. And Le Rallye Denudes is hard to listen to some days. But I still really love the music. When Temporal Drift started remixing, remastering a bunch of these bootlegs, I snagged a couple. This is the most recent one I got, which is Baus 93. It is only 4 tunes, but they are long. It came with a DVD, which is really nice. Thank you, Temporal Drift, for doing all your hard work. Mirror Reaper, still, whenever it comes on my shuffle if I'm at work, I still listen to as much of it as I can before getting distracted by customers. Those fucking customers. Can't you see I'm trying to vibe? I will say that this time of my life, it really did kind of change my trajectory of making music. I find myself wanting to vibe more. I find myself wanting to do music more aligned with Swans or A.A. Williams. Just kind of slower, moodier pieces. Keep in mind, I still love to rock out, I still love to punk out, and my band Faltered Steps' recent music is a testament to that. But yeah, I just want to vibe, man, and that period of my life kind of changed my way of thinking musically, and that's where I'm at. But yeah, have you heard of any of these bands? Have you gone through something like what I'm describing and kind of taken that with you and kind of learned from it and grew from it? If you have listened to any of these bands, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite album? Don't think a lot of people will know who Le Rallye Denudes is, but if you do, kudos to you. This is one of my first video essays that I've done, and it is fun to sit down and try to write a script, you can see me looking down occasionally to look at the script, and now I'm kind of going off script because it seems a little more organic, I think. Now I'm overthinking it. But if you like this video, consider giving it a like, giving it a follow, subscribe, whatever. It's going to change in 6 months anyway. If you like it, cool. Hit subscribe and I'll try to do more. Tell me, what's your anxiety band? What do you listen to when you're anxious? What do you listen to when you're just going through the thick of it and it helps keep you sane? Alright, thank you for watching. Here are the links to other stuff that I've done, music and otherwise. Thank you for listening. I'm gonna go edit this video now. I hope I edit it well. Okay, bye.